Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video we're going to be talking to you about 5 tips on demolishing a property. My name's Andrew Hubbard, 30 plus years in construction, bricklayer by trade, now full-time property developer, doing developments like this, and these tips are going to help you do exactly the same. Check me out on all the social media channels, feel free to follow me, subscribe to me, like me, whatever you want to do. Lots of content shared with you guys to help you on your property development journey. So tip number 1, you've got to secure the site. In this case we're using what's called Harris fencing. You can have timber hoarding, but it's imperative that you secure the site, keep people out of it. It's going to be a dangerous place, you don't want people getting hurt, and you've got to secure it from the day you take ownership of the site, not when you're ready to start work. So where do you get your fencing from? We buy ours from eBay, and we'll normally buy it in for the job. And then when we're done with it, we just stick it back on eBay and somebody else will come and buy it and take away from the site. And pretty much every time we'll get the same money back for what we paid for it, so the fence costs us 0. Tip number 2, make sure you get an asbestos survey. So anything built before 2000, year 2000, needs an asbestos survey before you demolish the property. And without this, you are breaking the law. So in that survey, they're going to check for what types of asbestos there is. They'll put together a program on how they're going to remove it and what that's going to cost. And then you need to make sure that you're using a reputable company who knows what they're doing, and when all the work's been done safely and the asbestos removed properly, they'll give you the consignment notes so that you can go and give them to your lender or building control, or maybe to the person buying the house, to show that that asbestos has been disposed of properly. Tip number 3, utilities. So when you're demolishing an existing property, there's most likely going to be electric, sometimes gas, usually water, and drainage. Now these 4 things you need to make sure that you're disconnecting properly. So when we disconnect the electric, we'll normally set up a temporary supply on site ready for us to start building our new development. So that's the first thing. Now sometimes you're going to need a road closure. In this case we do, and that's going to take 90 days to get that road closure permit from the council. So you've got to make sure that you allow that time frame from disconnecting the utilities to maybe getting started on site once the building's demolished. Drainage, you've got to make sure that any existing drainage runs are blocked up with a bung, so that no materials can go down there while you're demolishing and block up the existing drains in the road. Gas, that's an obvious one where you're going to need to disconnect the gas supply, and maybe you're going to reattach to that once you get your new dwelling. And then the last one is water. Now hopefully most properties are on a water meter now, and if they are, you can turn the water off at the water meter, cut the pipe off, and then we will reroute that pipe and put a temporary supply for us to use water on site while we're carrying out the build. And then when we're done, we will just connect that up to the new pipe and our water's there. So we don't need to pay for water connections when we're buying existing dwellings. Just the electrical removal, cap the drains off, which again we can normally connect back into, and then the gas we need to cap off and we can reuse that again. Tip number 4, you need to apply for a Section 80. So you apply for these from the building control, and this is your permission to demolish a building. It's automatic, it's not a decision-making application, it's just you're notifying building control that you're about to demolish a building. And building control will check things like your security fencing, making sure that you've blocked off your drains. They'll make sure that there's not going to be too much noise, so they may give you certain hours to work in. Dust control, they'll sometimes allow you to have fires on site. Out here we're okay to have fires, as long as we're not causing a disturbance to neighbours, or all the smoke's blowing over the road, for example. So they're pretty lenient, but they're just giving you a certain set of conditions to adhere to. So just make sure you get your Section 80 in place before you demolish. It tends to take about 24-48 hours to come through, so it's not a lengthy process. Submit the forms online, job's done, Section 80 in place, you've then got permission to demolish the building. And the 5th one, this is a top tip. If you're demolishing a building, you might want to check to see what materials you've got on the existing building and whether they're salvageable. You might get bricks that people want to reclaim, you might get roof tiles, timber, you might get scrap metal. So generally there's lots of materials within that building that can be reused or sold on. In some cases, you may even get a salvage company to come and remove the whole building for free on the basis that they can come and have the materials as part of their payment. In other cases, you might demolish all the bricks and all the concrete, put it through a crusher, put it at one end of the site, and then you can reuse that instead of buying in new hardcore and paying money to get rid of expensive hardcore waste. So I hope you found those 5 tips useful. Please like and subscribe to the channel for more videos, more education. If you've got any comments, put them in the comments below. We'll always get back to you. It helps the algorithm, helps people get to see more of this content. And we'll see you on the next video very soon.